Right, cool.
So I'm gonna record this call.
Okay.
All right, for sure. So we could jump right in. So my name is Tone. I am the owner of Hesh Qtrs and the Hesh Agency. Hesh Qtrs is a showroom where we like to highlight up and coming designers and brands and things of that nature. Giving back. And then the Hesh Agency is basically providing those creators and designers with information on how to grow. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So I want to dive right in. So what is your name?
So my name is Miles Nichols. I go by the artist name Malo though. That's what most people know me by.
Okay. All right. And how old are you? If you mind telling.
I'm 25 right now. Yeah, I'm 25.
Okay, for sure.
Yeah.
All right. I'm 26, so we're
Okay,
close.
I'm turning 26 in October.
Okay, for sure. I literally just turned 26 in July.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. And where are you from?
From Philadelphia, PA.
Okay, is that where you currently reside right now?
Yeah.
Okay. And what are you known for? So the people can, get familiar with you if they aren't.
So I think what I'm known for mostly now is my brand is called Emotional Therapy, as well as the sub brand to that is called Grillz. We focus on emotional well-being and mental awareness through design. So that's like the biggest thing. I'm very known for my beanies as well. They're called the Grillz beanies. I did a pretty well known like globally at this point. So and I also work with artists, but I think the main thing is I work like people know me for being emotional therapy.
Yeah, that's how I found you. I definitely found you through the beanies and things of that.
Yeah.
I'm one of those guys that's just always on the internet. I see everything.
Yeah.
So that's why I wanted to put together this interview, give my props to you, give you your flowers.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yep, no problem. So how long have you been running your brand or have you been creating in this fashion space?
So my brand itself, I've been doing since pretty much the end of 2020, going to 2021. So about 2.25 years, probably 2.5 years.
Mhm.
But I've been in the creative space of designing, especially fashion. I went to school for fashion merchandising at Jefferson University. That's in Philadelphia, East Falls area. I went there from 2016 until 2020. So, during the pandemic is really where my brand kind of started to build itself up and like become a thing, even though it wasn't supposed to become a thing initially. It wasn't like a focal point, but it became that as time went on. So for just the brand again, like two and a quarter years, 2.5 years, but fashion itself, since I would say like end of college, end of high school, going into college. So about 6, 7 years max on that.
Okay, for sure. We're pretty much
Yeah.
the same way when it comes
Okay.
to creating. I started my brand once I got out of school, but I was always making like one-on-one stuff for myself in school and things of that nature.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Running your brand or owning a brand, is that something you envisioned as a child? Or like just being in this maybe creative or just fashion, an influencer wasn't a thing, I guess, when we were growing up, but you
Uh-huh.
know, the moves that you're making now, is this something you've seen before it happened?
So growing up, I never had the idea that I would work for somebody. I think that's where it started. I never had the like built the envision moments where it's like as a kid, you're like, oh my gosh, I'll be like a doctor, lawyer, or whatever it may be. As a kid, never had that. I grew up skateboarding, and like that was really what my whole life was skateboarding, like literally down to after school, during school, like whatever it may be, like it was just sold skateboard. So the only thing I ever thought of was like, I'm gonna just skate. Like I don't know if I'm gonna turn pro, but like even though I had the ability to, it's like I just didn't take it to that extent. So I was like, okay, if I ever had to do something, it will probably revolve around skateboarding, like designing skate parks or things like that. Cause I was always artistic. And I was always sketching and doing things, whether on my skateboard itself or like on paper or wherever it was I could get my hands on, I could just draw something on. I was doing that. And then even going from high school to college, like it wasn't like I went into college knowing, okay, like I'm gonna do something in fashion per se. It was just more where I had to pick a career, pick a path in school, and fashion was like the most lenient to where I could still be myself and create, but it wasn't too strict to where I was too like feeling like, all right, well, if I do this, I'm gonna only be able to do that. So it's an access point. And then even coming out of college, like I was always when I was in school, I was designing like sneakers and stuff like that for like different celebrities. But it still wasn't something where I was like, okay, I'm gonna be an entrepreneur. Like this is going to be my thing. It was literally once I graduated, I had to make this conscious decision and saying, okay, do I want to work at the sneaker shop store I was working at, or do I want to just kind of just take a risk and chance on my own self and just start doing things? And that's what I did. I kind of just uh, kind of just waited on my job until the point where I felt like, all right, like I can just kind of start doing my thing more. And then once I was at that point in 2020, I just started to just do me ever since then.
No, that's a blessing. And it's crazy how many people in the fashion space come from skateboarding, because I do myself. So I've been skateboarding since 2007. My brand originally, Hesh Mob, was originally called Hesh Mob Skateboard. So I started with
Oh,
boards
dope.
and things of that nature. I'd sponsor kids, take them to, Tampa Am, Phoenix Am, stuff
Oh,
like that.
damn.
Yeah. So
Are you located in Florida?
no, I'm actually located in Vegas.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So I was, traveling with the team. I'm traveling with guys my age. I'm taking high schoolers, got to get approval
Damn.
from the parents. So it's like, it's just crazy that a lot of people have that skateboarding background, because I feel like being a skateboarder is what made us so versatile to be able to blend in every crowd, because I can deal with, I can go corporate, I can go punk, I can go street, whatever you need me to be. You know what I'm saying? I have all those interests.
Exactly.
So I feel like,
Exactly. And growing up in that, like being especially from Philly, where the skate scene was something that was not, I guess it was frowned upon to a certain degree, to where it's like, coming from like a black community, like no, not many people skate. Like it's like kind of unorthodox, unusual for you see like this kid skating here and they're black. But then also like being in the city, the cops and people don't really like it that much. So it's like we were always running cops, always doing things like that, and were taking things away from us. The left part, now they're taking away City Hall. Well, took that already. Now it's in right municipal building. It's like we always had to kind of adapt to these situations and scenarios. And my friends growing up, we were always together, hanging out and just skating wherever we could. So that adaptability and like being able to just maneuver, but then always have each other's backs on those things, the thing helped me build the confidence to know, like, let me just do this, because I've been kind of against the social norm all my life.
yeah, I know what you mean by that. So growing up
Yeah.
in Philly, have you ever met Stevie Williams?
Yeah, for sure. So my friend Kevin Billieu, he's pro for DGK now.
Oh, okay.
But we all grew up. My friend Jameer, like they're all like on DC and stuff. Like they're all sponsored. Like Jameer, he's like
That's
called
dope.
Bubutron on Instagram. Yeah, but like all of my homies literally are like, I guess what you would call like the top skateboarders in the city, to where like they're the ones who are sponsored always around. So like him, Stevie, Chris Cole, Tom Asta, Shot Aware, like those are the kind of guys like I was around when I was a kid. So I would go to like different skate parks, different contests, everything like that. And like these were the guys, these were like my old heads in a way. Like they were like the guys who I grew up with, and like would of course watch the skate videos and aspire to be like, damn, like these guys are crazy. But like at the same time, it's like cool, because like I can actually go out and have a conversation if I want to. And even now today, like I might go see my homie Jamal Smith, and like he's like really well known. And even him, like first thing he'll say, bro, you got tall as hell. Like what the hell? Like, and so like it's just it's a homie vibe, but it's like going around that, growing these pro skateboarders, it was just pretty dope.
No, that's a vibe for sure. So I want to talk a little bit more about your business. So with your business, do you have a team, or is it just you?
So this is the first year I would say I'm starting to build a team. I've been like, having different meetings with people, interviews, trying to see what works, what doesn't work. I would say it's still not a real team yet. Right now I have a strategist. She assists me heavily with like, let's say if we're putting like rollouts together for like different campaigns. Like my current one right now, the back to school campaign. She helped me heavily on that. Um, or like I'll have like right now 2 interns, and like they'll assist me in like with pop-up shops. If I need something with a photo shoot, whatever I might need, they're down to help me out with. But for the most part, it's usually all on my own, and I just commission people like through their work. Like, let's say if I needed a certain graphic done that I might not be able to do myself, because I'm a self-taught graphic designer, and this person might be a more animation style graphic designer or 3D animation. I'll like just commission them to do those pieces, and then just kind of get it back to me, and then we just roll it out.
To fill in those gaps of what you can't necessarily do. Yeah, but I would say when it comes to you, do you feel as if when it comes to trying to build that team, do you find it hard to delegate because you are so used to doing everything on your own?
Yeah, I think that's one of my I literally just actually spoke to my mom and my girlfriend about this recently. I was like I give opportunities, and it makes me go back to how I was all my life, where it's kind of like I just would rely on myself. If the opportunities I would give to said people, they don't follow through to like the way I would ideally want, or like they kind of lackluster to where um it's like the execution just isn't really there, or their interest isn't really there. So then it kind of just feels like, well, I could have done this on my own. So it's definitely hard, being that I was always somebody who just does everything on my own. But I do want to build a team with people who do love the brand and who do want to create with the brand. And I would say right now, at least two of both my interns are that, like, they are very interested in the brand. They're young, like they're like 15, 16 years old, but like they're interested in fashion, they're interested in my brand, and it gives it a little bit better. I get better feedback in those ways rather than just putting somebody on payroll and it's like, well, you just do these things, because then that's like, the brand's still growing. So it's like, okay, we might run into some stumps. And if you're just fixated and focused on money rather than like knowing like we're just trying to grow the business to the point that that doesn't be a problem, it kind of it suppresses my confidence and desire to really keep things running the way I would want to, if I feel like this person's only here for said monetary value and not actually like trying to grow as like a brand and as like as a unit.
Yeah, trust me, I
Yeah.
understand that as well. When it comes to dealing with other people, I definitely have one I've tried, like, that we started off with using our, close circle and things of that nature. But like you said, it kind of gets into the point where you're going through that trial and error where you have to figure out, like, okay, these people aren't necessarily really interested in building the business. People are only worried about the dollar sign. And people don't really
Or like just
understand, like,
the usage of your name.
exactly. Trying to figure out maybe
Yeah,
a position that this could put them in, not necessarily how they can grow this while they are here,
exactly.
or how this position could help them with what they wish to do in the future. You know.
Exactly.
Okay, but let me get into my next question. So, what was your start in the industry? I remember you mentioning shoes earlier. So, was that your start into like building a fan base for the, I guess you would say, the fashion scene, the sneaker scene?
Yeah. In high school I was doing like, just random customs of just like, repainting a shoe or something like that, or doing like custom jackets, probably to like distressing jeans and stuff. And then when I get to college, I was doing like small projects within the school, like for like projects for class and stuff. So where again, like doing jeans, denim, painting and stuff. But one day I was just like, I'm really into sneakers. Always been into sneakers. So I'm like, I want to start painting like Air Forces. And I was like, but I want to kind of do something a little bit different. And the guy, Paulie, like Hi My Mom Dead, like he did something for like ASAP Rocky and them. So before I kind of like started, I was like, let me just get his approval of it. I DM'd him. He was just like, all right, bet. And I was like, let me just try this out. But I was just doing it more as a broke college student, just want to make like a little dollar, like, just to make sure I can like sustain myself while being in school.
Mhm.
So I would just charge like literally, I think I charged the first time I charged a shoe like $20, $30. And like I just wanted to somebody just give me the opportunity to do a shoe. And it worked out, somebody did it. And then from there, I just kept doing shoes more and more and more. Of course, the prices fluctuated and went up from there. But then let's say if I started 2017, this is like spring semester. So like let's say March, like early March, like March here and there, I was just started to just do a bunch of shoes. By summertime of that 2017, um, Rich the Kid had hit me up, like, but because that brand, that Instagram page, Little Jupiter, used to post my stuff a lot. Like every single time I drop a shoe, they'll repost it. So he hit me up, his like management team and him, and they're like, "Yo, like, we would love to get a pair of shoes done. He's about going to tour with Kendrick Lamar, da da." So I was like, "Okay, like this is dope. Like, let me do it."
Perfect
Did the
opportunity.
shoe. Yeah, yeah. So I had literally, and I only had like a day to do it. They needed like the next day or something like that, or like I think at 2 days. So I had to go get his first shoe, and then his manager wanted, so his A&R wanted to sign me. So I had to go get the second shoe, and I just stayed the entire night and just working on them. And then next day I took a bus to New York, and I linked up with him. And then he was like, "You want to come with us? We're going to be, driving around, shooting videos, going to the damn tour and stuff." So I was like, "Okay, bet." And from there, it was just a cool experience. I just took it as like, all right, this is dope as hell. And then from there, again, more and more people started to just hit me up. So now I started working with like Pusha T, designer, there's so many J. Critch, a bunch of just different art. Then I started working with like YSL, like 300 Entertainment, started doing stuff like Thug and all these other artists. And then from there, it just kind of built up to the point where I was able to that fan base was happening not because I was doing it purposefully in the sense of like, okay, I'm doing this so my fans can see it. At that time, it was more like I'm just doing artwork, and it just became its own thing.
It was more of like the beauty of not saying no to opportunity.
Yeah, exactly. And then
When
also like,
opportunity presented itself, you went with it.
and I was with it, and I was at that time I was so passionate for like that until I think like 2019. I was so passionate about just designing sneakers so much. I was just like, yo, this is like, of course I would do other things in between then, but like I was designing so many shoes. Like, I probably in my span of time, like I've shipped shoes all around the world. So Italy, Europe, all everywhere. Like literally China. I've literally taken the shoes physically to China in hand, give it to a person. So it's like, yeah. So like doing those things, it was really dope because I'm like, damn, like I would have never thought starting us off at the time where I just want to do just to help myself sustain in college. So now I'm like doing this type of shit. It was just really dope.
I love to hear that, man.
Yeah.
All right. So my next question is, so what's your creative process like when you're making something? Obviously, you have two separate brands, but what is the creative process like? Or do you like to sketch on paper first? Do you like to Illustrator, Procreate? What type of vibe are you going for? Like, what do you do?
Yeah, so I'll say I have a few different processes, so depending on what it is, but I'll say for the most part, I usually might look at some ideas first. Like let's say hypothetically, I'm like, all right, I want to like do let's say like right now, like I did like this shirt I have on and stuff, this shirt. And like for this shirt design, I was like, I did a photo shoot for like my brand, and I was like, all right, like I want to do it, but I want to have like stickers on the girl's face, like almost like band-aids and random stuff on their face. And with that photo shoot I did, like the concept came from just me like seeing like OG pictures. I was like see like old school pictures on like Pinterest of like rappers and stuff like that. Like we have like Soldier Boy and shit like tape on his face and band-aids and stuff. So I started from like that concept first, like inspiration, like okay, like I want to do this photo shoot this way. And then it led into then me doing a photo shoot. And then from that photo shoot, I was like, all right, I want to recreate this now into an art piece. So I got that done. But then other ways could be like where I'm just like looking at silhouettes. I might go to a store and I might like a skirt silhouette or something. I'm like, I like how this look. Like I can do some alterations too. I can look at some different things on it. Okay, how would we add pockets here? How would we add a different seam here? Take a picture of it certain ways. I'll go and start sketching it out like my iPad, or like I'll just start going right to my Illustrator and just start like doing like little flats of it. And then from there, I'll try to figure out the measurements myself, or I get like a pattern maker to do it. And then graphics may come into play where I'm like either doing graphics myself, or I might commission somebody to do a certain graphic if I don't know how to do a certain font, or like how this is, like I had to get somebody to sketch this out by hand. And then from there, then I apply it to the piece, and then we go through sampling and just figuring out, okay, like adjust this, change this, do these things. And then the product is made at that point.
So would you say you know how to use a sewing machine fairly well, or you still utilize a pattern maker and seamstress?
I would say in college I was better at it because I was in the studio like 24/7 basically. Like I was never not in the studio.
Dialed
So I was
in
a lot
on
better
it.
at it. Yeah. Like literally it was like to the point like I was doing like custom pieces for like different rappers for like their concerts and stuff. But then once I got out of it and I wasn't using it as much, it kind of like digressed, and as well as like not having that level of machinery, it kind of like had to go back to like an average sewing machine. So, and I had to realize like, my time is money at this point where I can do other things in my meantime while also just allowing someone else to use their true talent and do these things. So right now I use like pattern makers. It could be physical pattern makers where they do like flats of it, like on like paper. I can do pattern makers who make it out of muslin. I can do pattern makers who do 3D, all everything 3D. So depending on what I want to do, how I want to turn around on it, I might do one of them. I might do all three of them. I might do the entire thing where I get the entire 3D shit made and then still get a sample made, then get it sent back, then re-go back to the patterns, change wherever it needs to be changed, and then send it back again. Some things it just takes so long when I might take a whole year and never put it out, still working on it.
Yeah, I know. Trust me, I got a rack full of clothes that has never seen the day of light.
Exactly.
Yeah. So what's one of your proudest moments so far running your brand?
I would say, that's crazy because I literally think that's all about this the other day too. There's certain things I always forget about that I've done. I have multiple ones. I would say the most current one this year was me being able to go to London and having a pop-up shop with my friend's brand as well. Like we did a collaboration. They had own that brand, Mia Copa. So we had a pop-up shop in London, and I was happy because one, it's like I went from being just a local small brand here in Philly. I only started my brand X amount of years ago. And people really still knew me more for my graphics rather than me trying to be a brand owner. And it was kind of hard to get out that shell. To then the following year having a product that did so strong that it changed my life to the point like, my lifestyle has changed, but as well as like I'm able to take a risk as I did and go over to a different country that in my city that's very, very rare, so almost never been done, and actually achieve something to where we had a great turnout. We met a lot of people. I have relationships over there now, people who I can like go back, who still want me to come back and hang out, and I'm always down to go back. And on top of it, I learned so much out of that, and I was able to inspire people from my city and just around whoever followed me. So I think that was my greatest moment in this year. I've had other past experiences. Like last year, I worked a lot with Foot Locker, and we had really cool events where we would have like different sponsorships like Nike, Converse, things like that with the sneakers, and like I would have like a workshop and a lot of kids to put their thoughts, emotions, and feelings into a shoe. We call it the emotional therapy workshop. And by doing these things, I was able to allow these kids who may have experienced trauma, might be just, have the abilities to just be as open and free-minded as possible, put onto their shoe, create an art piece that they can be proud of, and leave here having something that they can now wear, they can show off, and like show their true selves on the shoe.
No, that's dope. And so you got to do all those pop-ups through your brand, Emotional Therapy.
Yeah, like me doing the investments of it and these things, like not having an investor into my brand, like me just putting up my risk and taking that chance and just letting it be what it is, whether it was a sink or swim, like of course I'm grateful enough we swam, but it's like just taking that opportunity, taking that risk and just going for it.
Believing in yourself.
Exactly.
So with those relationships that you did with the workshops, were those things that you reached out for, or those people reached out to you?
Yeah, so I reached out to the guy who does all the events for Foot Locker around like I guess Eastern Seaboard.
Mm-hmm.
So his name's Sherrod. He's a DJ, things called DJ events. It's called in-house design. And with his company, he works with like creating like different installations for Foot Locker, whether it's like having DJs there, having like giveaways, having back to school drive, whatever it may be. They basically just bring the community together, and for like new stories as well, for like new launches. So I've worked with him on events in Philly, New York, and Baltimore for the most part. And through these events, again, like we were able to curate experiences for kids that they were able to get a shoe that usually might not be able to just go out and buy and start drawing on. That might be their shoe for the year per se.
Yeah.
So getting these shoes and having them just be there for a few hours in the morning time, get some free food, free like some juices and stuff, and just be with their friends and like just create something that is truly them. And like me have the DJs there, and I just explained to them like this helped me out. So I always want you guys to take this opportunity to just be as free as possible. Like don't be scared about you making a mistake. Like you can either fix that or leave that. Like don't, because we go through life making mistakes. So don't feel like
the end of the
you're supposed to
world.
be this. Yeah, don't feel like you're supposed to be this perfect thing, because the only reason I know it's a mistake because you're told me at this point. I would have never known it was a mistake. So it's like live with those mistakes and just grow from them and just see what you can alter and change. So I would just taking that and being able to do that for like that time frame was such a cool thing to do. Because I'm like, damn, like growing up, I didn't have that type of opportunity. So the fact that I'm able to give this back to these kids, whether they're 8 years old, 16, 17, 18, and like they enjoy it, and now some of them I can even see now, like going through Philly, and they still remember me. Like that's greater than any value I can get out of it monetary wise. Like that's just like amazing.
That's dope that your hard work allowed you to give back to other people.
Yeah.
Okay. So next question would be, what's some advice you would give to somebody starting off in their creative journey?
I would say
whether it's fresh and started, or whether it's someone who needs some advice to keep it going.
Yeah, I would say find your story. Sometimes I feel like a lot of it doesn't have to be a brand owner, but just somebody who wants to start something for themselves and like bring something into life that maybe they just have in their head, that's just stuck in their head. They get stuck by fear because they don't know what direction to go. But the best direction is just finding it in yourself, like showing your story through. We all are individual human beings. No matter if you live next to me, no matter if you're in the same house as me, we all experience different things. So I would just tell them like, just find your stories, because like it might not be the most interesting story to you per se because you're the one experiencing it, but you never know, other people might take as inspiration or just take like as motivation, or even just maybe you actually even relate to. You might be going through things that somebody else might relate to. It might not be exact same situation, but they could have gone through a scenario that they had the same exact feelings from, the impact moments, and bringing that to life and like owning that story will not only give you self-empowerment, but it's also, you're also being able to empower other people by showing them that the things that they may have gone through, whether it was good or for bad, don't make them feel like this is their sole only moment in life. Like they're able to take that and own that power and take charge of your life. And that gives you that self-power and self-reliability to know that you, one, love yourself and also can hold yourself up and sustain yourself without feeling like you have to rely on other people around you. We all need support systems. But in the end of the day, like if we can't support ourselves, how are we going to support another person?
And it makes
So
people feel. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, no. So I'm just saying, so like I just feel like out for anybody, like whether it's a brand owner or whether it's like somebody who I just see, like, you know, just find your story, like, and really see what you want out of that story. Like, see where you want to take it. Like, don't put a barrier or put like a thing your way because, oh, I don't have this money or opportunity or, you know, resource right now. Work with what you got around you. And that's a part of your story. So then once that story keeps progressing and you start getting more things to assist you and that gets a little bit easier on you, you still can look back and see where you were beforehand and be grateful that you didn't take that time and just sulk and let it go. And, oh, I didn't have this. Like you took that moment and said, let me go with it and let me build myself up until the point I'm able to be where I'm at, wherever I'm at now, wherever your goal is here and there. And even that goal can always change. You don't got to stay on one goal in life. You can always add more and change things and, you know, go with what you know feels the best to you and take those risks and find your story through those risks.
Because like you said, at the end of the day, no matter what you're interested in, no matter what you go through, you're not the only one.
Exactly. You know, community.
It's really just
is the
about
biggest thing.
having that confidence enough to express what you are going through. Not
Exactly.
even necessarily looking to relate to other people, but you will find out by expressing yourself how many people relate to it.
Exactly. Just finding yourself through that. Like, you know, don't do it for the thought of, okay, well, they're gonna know this, they're gonna like this, because then you're only just pleasing the crowd. Like, just do you for like shit. I even myself, like that's how I started my
capture
brand.
the moment.
Like I can't tell you how many people were like questioning me, like, oh, like your brand called emotional therapy. Like, why is the name? It's just an odd name. You don't just hear that out there. But like for me, it's like I went through some stuff in 2020 to where I needed to go to therapy, and through that I was able to find myself. I was able to talk to my parents, to talk to my friends, and also just give information to other people that allowed them to feel more of themselves. So then it just built into something. It didn't start off as a brand where I was focused on making money. The first money I made, I donated to charity, you know, to mental health awareness, and the second money too. So it's like I didn't start the brand with this game plan of, all right, well, I'm gonna do this. I just want to find myself, and that story built into what it is nowadays. Like that's my story. That's how I created things, and I can never let that fundamental structure, that base go, because in the day, like, yeah, like of course we want to, you know, make sure we are growing, making money, things like that. But in the day, like, if I didn't have this, would I still want to do this? Yes. So it's like, why am I can't just fixate and think my one brain mind in here and then think, yeah, let me just make this lump sum of money and just keep that going. Like, that's cool. I look forward to that, but in the day, like, I look forward to this other thing more.
Because I always tell people at the end of the day, we know there's easier ways to make money. If it was all about money, we would be doing something else. We wouldn't be giving all of our time to the creative, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, so let's wrap it up. So what can people expect from you next? What do you got coming up? What you working on? You traveling any places? You starting any channels, this, that, and the third? Like, what can we look out for?
Yeah, so I mean, what I got going on, like I got the restock of the OG beanies next to kind of round out like the whole back to school campaign. I got some like cool giveaways for that as well that I, you know, I want to show when I actually get them in. And I'm not traveling. I don't think that much. I've been traveling a lot to get back to Houston. I don't see myself traveling too much rest of this year. I might go to Art Basel possibly, and maybe a few other places. For this coming year, I want to start working on like having like installations, like art installations in like museums in curated ways. So like literally I just got up a meeting for it. And with that, I'm just trying to like really build mag reels up. I want to show people the new age of emotional therapy, where that's not going to just be all these different graphics. It's going to be more curated pieces where it's like silhouettes, textiles, and things being used for that. And then Mad Grillz, I want people to start seeing the more creative, open-minded side of that. So where it's like you start seeing figures, you know, big characters, all types of stuff, action, you know, like books, everything, like just so many things. There's no limit to it. And that's really where I'm going at. Like, and then of course in that I'll be traveling. So hopefully Japan, hopefully back to Europe, things like that in those moments. But really just curating the brand to wherever it can go, both the brands.
Okay, that's dope. Well, hey, I'm looking forward to everything. I'm definitely a fan of your work. I like to see how you're delivering things, and I also just like to see the work itself, and it's speaking for itself. You feel me? The consistency, the dedication. You feel me? So definitely want to salute to you. You feel
Thank
me?
you, bro.
And if you just want to let the people know where they can find you at, so they can check you out.
Yeah, for sure. Follow me, follow the brand on Instagram. My brand is called Emotional Therapy _ on Instagram. So just put @Emotional Therapy _ on Instagram, TikTok, wherever it is. It's still always Emotional Therapy _ My personal Instagram is Malo97, MALO97. So that's the best way to find me and stuff like that. I'm always open to talk to people. So if anybody wants to DM or whatever, I'm always down.
Yeah, and I appreciate you taking this call. This is the first call I'm doing of this series, so
Oh,
expect to see
awesome.
more
I
following up after
appreciate that,
this.
bro.
Most
Thank
definitely, I
you.
had to
Thank
reach
you.
out. Yeah. So
Thank
I'm
you.
Tone. This is the Hesh Agency and Hesh Quarters. This is Malo97 of Emotional Therapy and Mad Grillz. I appreciate you for your time. I'll make sure I reach out to you via DM, send you the links and stuff, and just to keep up with you more. And hey, man, have a wonderful day and keep staying at it.
Thank you. Likewise, bro. Have a great day.
On me, you as well.
Mhm.
All right.